So you saw the movie, and now you're wondering whether you should read the book. Well, stop wondering, just read it. But that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is that this might be the rarest thing in modern science fiction. A genuinely brilliant, edge of your seat grown up sci fi novel that you can almost hand to anyone you know and never regret it. That almost never happens anymore. So let's talk about why this one's different. And I'm going to do it without spoiling a single thing because going in blind is half the magic. And I'm not going to be the guy who takes that from you. Here's my rule: a spoiler free review that should make you want to read the book, not replace reading it. So I'll give you the floor, the setup that you'd get off the back cover, and not really very much past that. A man wakes up alone. He doesn't know his name. He doesn't know where he is. This is kind of the standard, like, amnesia trope, but it's done so well. There are two dead bodies in the room with him, and slowly, as his memory comes back in pieces, he realizes he is very, very far from home. And the entire human race is counting on him to not screw this up. That's it. That's all you get. And believe me, it's all you want. Because the way this story unfolds, the way the memory comes back, the way this situation reveals itself, guys, this is the entire engine of the book. Anyone who tells you more than that, they're robbing you. What I can tell you is it's the shape of the experience. This is a survival story. It's a problem-solving story, the kind where a smart person is stuck in an impossible situation and has to science his way out, one ingenious step at a time. If you loved that part of The Martian, you already know whether this is for you. But it's also got something The Martian didn't, and that's something that kind of elevates it from great to people cry at the end great. I won't say what it is, I'll just say stick with it. Now, let me save you a little bit of time. Here's exactly who should read this. If you like science that's actually science, like real physics, real chemistry, problem solved with reasoning instead of magic, this is one of the best in the genre. The author does the thing where you're genuinely learning something and your heart's pounding at the same time. That's really hard to pull off. You want a book that's fun? It's funny, warm, optimistic, with the main character you'd want to grab a burger with? It's that too. This is not grim sci-fi. It's not bleak. You finish it feeling better than when you started, which these days is worth a lot. Now, who should skip it? If you need deep, layered characters and complex relationships with political intrigue, this isn't that book. The cast is small, the focus is narrow, it's a man with a big problem, and if Guy solves big problems in space sounds thin to you, this won't change your mind. And if hard science makes your eyes glaze, there's a fair amount of that here. Here's how I calculated this, and here's how I calculated that. Most people find it thrilling. Some find it like homework. Know which one you are. For me, 5 stars. One of my favorite reads in years. But I want you walking into this with clear eyes. Now, one thing you need to know, I'm an audiobook person, and that matters specifically for this one because on the audiobook, the narration is excellent. And there's an element of the story, one of the key elements, that the audio format handles in a way that the page simply can't. I'm being vague on purpose here, but if you're on the fence between reading and listening to it, I would honestly nudge you towards listening to the audiobook. There's a reason it's one of the most praised sci-fi audio productions out there, and the reason is baked right into the story. That's all I'll say. This is also where I'll mention, because narration changes things, that I rate most of my book as heard. I listen to most of the books that I'm in when I'm driving back and forth. How that language hits, how intense the scene feels, it can land differently when it's spoken aloud than when it's on the page. So when I give you the content ratings and those kind of things in a second, it's through that lens. Okay, this is one of the parts that I really want you to understand that you'll get from my channel is I want you to understand kind of what you're walking into. There's been so many times I've picked up a book, it's been recommended to me, and I've figured out I could not even have it on with anyone in my house around. Overall, this book is going to be, I'm going to call it PG-13 equal, and comfortably so. Now, Language. There's a little bit of caution here. It's very on the mild end, and there's a great story here. The author's first book, The Martian, was kind of famous for its language. The main character in that swore like a sailor, and the author clearly took that note because the hero in this book barely swears at all. He's a middle school teacher, and darn and shoot are basically his swearing vocabulary. It's an actual like character detail, and it's charming. The stronger language that is here, you're looking at roughly a small handful of F words across the whole book, and they come from a couple of supporting characters, mostly one tough as nails director type. For a full length adult novel, this is genuinely mild. By my standard, which is roughly about one F bomb every 2 hours, because that's about the length of a PG-13 movie, this comes in about half that number. So solidly PG-13, leaning clean. Sexual content, nothing there. Clean there. Violence, a minor caution. This is a survival story, so there's peril and injury and danger, and some of it's tense. But it's not graphic, not gory, and the worst of it happens off page. There's some heavy thematic moments, characters facing death, discussing worst case options that are more emotionally intense than visually intense. Nothing your average teen couldn't handle. The genuinely intense part of the book is more psychological, not graphic. Isolation, existential stakes, the weight of being the last hope for humanity. For a sensitive young reader, that's the thing to be aware of, not the content, it's the intensity. Bottom line, this is one of the cleanest, brilliant sci-fi novels you can find. A solid PG-13-ish rating. You can hand it to a teen and read right alongside them. That combination, and that's this good and this clean, is exactly why I love this book. So, should you read Project Hail Mary? Yes. If you have any affection for smart, fun, hopeful science fiction, this is close to a must. It's the rare book that earns its hype. And it's a rare adult sci-fi novel that I can recommend to almost this entire audience without any hesitation whatsoever. Now, if you've already read it, no spoilers in the comments. Be cool to the new folks, but tell me where it ranks for you, and if there's a book that you want me to put through this same treatment. A spoiler-free review, honest about the content and the rating and that kind of thing. Drop that in the comments below. That's the whole point of this channel. Help you find great stuff you can dive into and read and get lost in a world that it just helps you to escape. I'll see you on the next one. Enjoy the book.